Cool. So before I start addressing my issues and my journey at ING, I would like to quickly share a video of our CTO, who unfortunately could not be here, but he insisted in having this video. So if you can start it in, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Daniele Tonella. I'm the CTO of ING, and I'm very pleased to welcome you to this SRE Day. I wish I could be there in person, but I didn't want to miss the chance to say a big thank you for joining us. A special shout out to Alexandra, Michael, Mark, and Sarah for choosing ING to host this incredible free community event for all of you. In banking, reliability isn't just a tech thing. It is the essence of trust. Every tap, every login, every connection with our customers depends on systems that run flawlessly, predictably, 24/7. That's why SRE is at the core on how we think, design, build, and run technology at ING. What makes this community so incredibly powerful is that reliability is shared and it's built together. When we learn from each other, we raise the bar. Smarter automation, sharper metrics, faster recovery. So today, I hope you will share boldly, connect widely, and keep pushing the boundaries of what reliable systems can do. Thanks again to the SRE Day team and to our own Reliability Guild for bringing this to life. And of course, thanks to all of you for being part of it. Enjoy the day.
Cool, thanks. So I always like to bring things with me because it makes your story lively. So today I have this wisdom tile. I don't know if you know wisdom tile, right? But they have a saying on it. And my saying today is, hoe heeft het ooit kunnen werken? And that's translated in English, how did this ever work? And I think that's more or less, if I reflect back on the 2-year journey I'm now in with SRE, that's more or less the key takeaway. So how did this ever work? And often I drive home and I say to myself, if I have been in an incident or post-mortem, how in the hell did this work? And why did it now break? And this is an extremely important mindset, and I'll get back to that. But please remember this sentence, how did this ever work? A second thing I brought is this book. And I saw George somewhere, and George recommended me to read this book, Black Box Thinking, and it starts with, and that's something I want to talk to you today about the failure part. And it starts with some facts and figures. I read it out loud. In 2014, so that's more than 10 years ago, 210 people died because of an airplane crash. Now, question to you. How many people died because of a mistake or a human error during surgery? A normal, routine surgery. Any clue? More? Okay, yeah, more. That's right, more, yes. So the Journal of Patient Safety estimated 400,000 people died during surgery, or normal surgery, so a routine surgery, in the year 2014. So this can be avoidable. It is because of wrong drugs, injuries during surgery, or simply human errors. It was in the US the 3rd biggest killer, next to cancer and heart diseases. The 3rd biggest killer. And this book, it starts really beautifully. It starts with a husband who drives his wife, Elena, to the hospital for this routine surgery. They had 2 kids. Life was great. Everything was set. They had a house, dog, you name it. Everything was set. And this was a normal routine surgery. And when in the afternoon he wasn't called by the doctors, He called the hospital himself and he asked, hey, what's going on? I did not hear anything that I can pick her up or what's going on. And then they stated, sorry, your wife passed away. These things can happen. And then he asked, okay, will there be any investigation or how did this happen? And he started to wonder about this. What have gone wrong? My wife was healthy, etc., etc. Yeah, these things just can happen. We don't do any investigation. I say, okay, but what's required for you to do investigation? Then the hospital said, that's really simple. We only do investigations once somebody sues us. Okay, don't you want to learn from these mistakes? Or it is what it is. I was shocked when I read this. I thought, okay, how does this work with ING? How do we learn from our mistakes? And more important, how do we improve? So I'll give setting the scene and the challenge by 2 examples. These 2 examples, I love them. Recently, we had the big AWS outage. And I often join incidents because Daniela was just here next to that. He's really a supporter of SRE as a practice. He is also really involved. So he directly calls and he wants to know what's going on. So the AWS is down. Therefore, our call centers are down because the services of our call center run on AWS. And then, okay. And then I went into this incident call. And I'm the engineer, and this is the manager on duty. And the manager on duty says, okay, AWS is down. What actions can we take to solve it? Engineer. Yes, we have a fallback mechanism running on Microsoft Teams. Let's activate it. The manager on duty managing the incident. Okay, how long do you take? And then I need to log in to the Twilio console, and then we can activate it. You got my approval. Engineer. It doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? What alternatives are there? I think the fallback is not working on Microsoft Teams because AWS is down. How can you confirm this? I looked at the site Alle Storingen or Down Detector, and there I see also a spike on Microsoft. So probably it's related. And I needed to tell me this, or tell me this like 6 times. We cannot fall back to our default solution, our Microsoft Teams, because AWS is down, but we now have this call, this incident call on Microsoft Teams. Easy. This is mindset. This is mindset that you point towards others. The one was about databases. So in ING Italy, they did a database change. And then the system broke down. And then again, so manager on duty. What can you see on your systems? We see the effect of noisy neighbors. So other databases are not performing, consuming all the resources. Therefore, our database is not okay. Manager on duty. So can we get the database team in? Other engineer of the database team. Yeah, indeed, we see because of a other deployment, they have a wrong query somewhere running. We can't do anything about it. Okay, then get that other team in. And the other team states, yeah, but you don't provide any dashboarding or any guardrail, so we can do whatever we want. And I think this is what makes it so complex at ING Reliability, like Danielle stated in his opening. So our landscape is extremely complex. It's also positive because we run everything end-to-end. So we have our own data centers, we run our own operational layer, so really our own platform layer, and everything on top. So end-to-end, from mobile to the data centers, we run everything in-house. So that gives maximum autonomy and maximum flexibility. But it comes with a price. is that you also need to take then full accountability and full responsibility for this chain. And even worse, in these two examples I just gave, people start to finger point. Not my problem. I do everything right. They're to blame. We as provider of our service, we provide the best service. All these consumers don't listen to us. It's their own fault. So how do you manage this? So I'm now 8 years with ING. 2 years ago, I was looking for a new challenge. So back then I called the CIO. I stated, I'm looking for a new challenge. He said, what are you then looking for? I said, I'm a bit more technical. We have a problem in reliability. Obviously, you want to convince your CIO. So you state, not, I think I can help you with that. You want to be convincing. You say, I will fix this for you. Okay. I said, if you fix this for me, you can do it. So then I started into this role. And then I'll now skip a slide. And then I started with this. I need to change this mindset. I need to stop this finger pointing. So I started to write mails to all staff. I started to share lessons learned from incidents. This is great, right? So if I send emails to everybody, then people will at least start to understand my line of thinking. They need to start acting upon it. I did another thing. I thought, okay, let's bring in some competition. I think that's great. We'll bring in some competition. So I started the LCM Legends Award, which is, the title is not really correct, but we started to really define how does good operating your system looks like, right? So we really did this data-driven. So you got bonus points if you always close your incidents in time. You got bonus points or extra points if you every 30 days did a redeploy. You get bonus points if you have a security champion in your team. If you have auto-cert, which is an automatic rotation of your certificates. And what happened with these two activities? Any guess? Actually, nothing happened. Nothing. Nothing. I was working my ass off. And they said, hey, nice email. Good that you do this award. I like the drinks. Okay. Nothing happened. So how do you then fix the accountability problem? How do you let teams feel the ownership? We started to I could blame myself, right? I can do the same now as the engineers always do towards each other. I simply can state, these engineers are stubborn, they don't listen, they don't follow up. Because it's a clear, it's a clear format. It's always a observation with issues, and it always has a clear call to action. And these engineers do not follow up on my action. You can do the same. Simply state, stubborn engineers, you don't listen to me. But that's not going to fix it, right? So then, another book, Extreme Ownership, really opened my eyes. Time to take ownership. And then you should read the book. It's a really nice book. It's about these two gentlemen fighting in combat in Iraq. And the book is always like this. The first part is about how they fought in Iraq and their lessons learned, and then how do they translate it to business life. So in the end, they set up their own leadership consultancy, and they take all these lessons with them. And one of the examples is they're in a combat, and they're on the ground, and they need the help of a sniper in the Overwatch tower. And they say that we see an enemy, 3rd building, 4th floor. And then they go in, they enter, and the sniper doesn't act. Why does the sniper doesn't act? The communication is not clear enough. 3rd building, is it 3rd building from the left, 3rd building from the right? Which floor? Not clear enough. And this is the beautiful thing about Army. This is about life and death. There you can't make excuses. You can't say, sorry, we fucked up, right? That's about life and death. You can't say sorry. Read the book. It will open your eyes. So I thought, okay, my communication and all the activities I do don't have the desired effect. Then what should you do, actually? And that's when we did the run board, which is really the foundational layer. In our run board, I deal with all the IT leads, so they're responsible for running the system, so they're the management layer. First thing we did is both business and IT have a clear target and KPI on availability, both of them, so business and IT. Therefore, it's also in the minds of the business to take these kind of actions and corrective actions we would provide really with raw data. So in the end, this turned out to really work well. So we really show data, your service is performing like this based on these metrics. So availability is simple. Change failure rate, of course, is really simple, but then having the deep dive with the team and really explaining them in depth, how can you solve this? Where does it go wrong? In which changes does it go wrong? That really did magic. Then Golden State, that's more or less the reflection of the LCM award, but then we transformed it into management actions. So we really transformed it in, dear management, you have a KPI on availability. If you comply to the Golden State, it's most likely your service will perform really well. And then people start to feel responsible and accountable. And the same for manual deployments, disaster recovery. So we really provided, basically, name and shame on all these metrics. And that really started to work. So slowly, we started to improve. Now I have a question. So I'll go back now a few slides. What's driving reliability? What's driving reliability for a bank? That's this, we're heavily compliant. So we are having a lot of regulators that are demanding, that are putting a lot of pressure on us. Because in the end, if you can't do a payment, our system will collapse in the end, right? So regulators are heavily involved with us. But regardless of regulators, I think it's our customer promise, right? I want to be the best. I want to compete with Revolut. I want to compete with the other banks. I just want to be the best. And then the question is, you could already have seen it, but what's driving most of our change? That's not new business functionality. You could do exactly the same. Because to comply to these rules, and these rules and regulations keep changing, and you need to keep optimizing your systems. This is for a large part driving our change. Right, so creating a new feature, I would say, in all respect, that's easy. But complying to the new instant payment regulation, that within 10 seconds the transaction needs to end up at a different bank, that's the key complexity. So how do you then balance reliability and change? Or do they go hand in hand? Once again, it's all about making this data visible. It's all about then stating, hey, we see your change failure going up, my dear friends of product. What is going on? How can we help? Or should we even penalize you now in stating you're only allowed to change during the night? Because then the impact will be less. Cool. So then now folks, I already shared a bit, focusing a little bit on so we run business DevOps. So business is together with our DevOps teams in a squad. What's the holy grail in business and project management? That's this, right? So it also always needs to be in time, within budget, and as specified. That's there. That's how they steer. But in here, it's your responsibility and your accountability to really make yearly impact, right? So should you push back if it's under stress and you did not properly test? This is in time, right? Take the responsibility. And if they then still push, now the ownership comes in. Explain, properly explain, and over-explain until they do get the message. Just stating, yeah, the business pushed for it. And I see this often, right? The business pushed for it, so we just took a few shortcuts. No. No, this is mindset. This is about ownership. There's one a bit more complex, I would say. So within budget is the same. And especially, so staying in budget obviously is important. But until now, I've never ever encountered somebody in this beautiful company that said to me, I don't agree on the following sentence. Dear person XYZ, we have analyzed the situation. In terms of reliability, we propose to delay the project with 2 weeks, but therefore we ensure a better quality with less maintenance cost, with less incidents. But you need to give us 2 weeks extra or a month extra. Do you agree with me? I've until never found somebody who says, no, I don't agree. I compromise on quality. Never. Push back. Have that conversation, but take control of that conversation. So as soon as you see things going wrong, going south, take control of that situation. Then the as specified is the most difficult because we're all biased. So there's a lot of biases in. And often business needs help in translating how does this then look in a feature. So also here, take that ownership, request, what do you actually mean? What is your why? What is the end state? And don't forget the non-functional requirements. Because business is solely focused on functional requirements. Cool, so I want to end with just a challenge to all of you. Should we do blameless or blameful postmortems? Both, I hear both. I'll give you another nice example. I heard in this postmortem. We think we can fix it, but then it might happen again. Look, you should do, in my opinion, blameful. It's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes happen. You don't make mistakes because you want to take the bank down or your systems down. Mistakes happen, right? It's a complex landscape we're working in. Mistakes simply happen, and nobody does them on purpose. It's okay to say, I messed up, this is my mistake, and this is how I'm going to fix it. Now getting back to how I started. How in the hell did this ever work? My call out to all of you. If you drive home by train or by car, and you don't have that feeling anymore, and you don't get surprised anymore on how in the hell did this go today, or how in the hell did this work, you need to consider a different job. And to all people at ING, please move to a different domain, not outside of ING. But this is what makes the mindset of SRE, right? You need to have this eye for improvement. And just with this wisdom tile, keeping that mindset alive, I put it at my desk, so everybody who walks by gets reminded to this. Thank you. I wish you a wonderful day. And I'm not sure if there's time for questions, but sorry.
Yes, thank you very much, Guido. Then, as the next keynote speaker, I want to welcome on stage Peter Marshall. He's a director of developer relationships at Imply.